dry conditions, clouds in the sky, Belgian flags dropping from the sky before the start of the race. Belgian flags being waved by Linkin Park, the rock group who had their name all over the 0-0 Mercedes, but it was Audi and René Rast leading on the charge down to Eau Rouge. Right behind them, the Lamborghini of Mirko Bortolotti. As you can see, Bentley and Ferrari in the mix. You have to look further back to find the Mercedes. They were struggling at the start, but there they came. A 5-minute penalty to be served in the pits by 6 of the Mercedes. 4 of them came in on the opening lap. The disadvantage they had from it wasn't so great because that Ferrari, the 333 Ferrari from Rinaldi Racing in the gravel, caused a full course yellow, and so did this incident. The 77 Porsche coming out of the pits with Kevin Estre clattering into Moto Aki's Ferrari at the crest of the hill from Raidillon. A little limp there, sore leg for Kevin Estre. For Giancarlo Fisichella, the ex-Formula 1 racer, he knows his car's out of the race. On the right of the screen you can see it, and Moto Aki is okay, but the barriers certainly weren't. A long period while they were fixed. When the field was released, it was the BMW from Rowe Racing, number 98. Ahead, you couldn't see it, but right behind was the McLaren. So close was Comelade Gar. And the car that was leading the Pro-Am class was third, the black, yellow and red Porsche coming into the pit stops. And then one of the teams that came good in the Audi camp was the Phoenix crew, getting ahead with their number 6 car of the entries from Team WRT. The 50 Ferrari actually led the race very briefly in that opening stint, but Hassan Latourous took the car over from Pierre Guidi, put it in the gravel, and that set the car back. It was to go on to get towards the top 10, number 30 in the tyre wall, and that caused another full course yellow. That was the Team Parker Racing entry. The sun made a late showing after a grey evening, and as sunset went to nightfall, waved yellow flags out on the circuit. Incident aplenty, but it was a question of calling the shots right. If there was a full course yellow, you had to time your pits all right. Rear damage, the number 28 Audi. Yes, that went on to third place, but it was an agonising slow lap into the pits for that to be repaired. Lost a lot of ground. The fireworks came out. The concerts were absolutely fantastic as night fell on Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, partying on the track and off the track. Andy Soucek in the Bentley camp, all eyes on the screen. His car, the number 8 Bentley, going very well indeed. But the 98 and 99 BMW crews also right in the hunt. The 99 car was the one that turned out to be the preferred option. And you can see there Alexander Sims being patted on the back as the 24 Bentley is removed after a clash with the barriers at the top of the hill. Another chance for the safety car to be out. Another chance for the team to use the full course yellow to make their mandatory brake change they had to do. Normally takes some 5 minutes, but you have less track relative position loss when you have a full course yellow period. Got racing all over again. It was where the teams placed their cars. Great shots. Mechanics sleeping, well, they have to do it sometime, but flashes of sparks from the cars through Eau Rouge, time-honoured fashion. Bentley going increasingly well. This was the brake change being affected very competitively by the BMW crew from Rowe Racing. A little oil on the track and it caught out the number 8 Bentley that was challenging for the lead of the race. Wolfgang Reif going for a relatively harmless spin up at La Source. The oil had been dropped by the Ferrari. We saw at the side of the track just 2 corners before. Obviously got onto his tyres. Next time he had to brake hard. Round he went. And then coming to the pit lane, overshooting the garage. It wasn't a great moment for Wolfgang Reif, and largely he was kept out of the car. Less experienced by far than Maxime Soulet and Andy Soucek. And they were the 2 drivers that Bentley rested their hopes on. The number 7 sister car lost ground with an incident and fell way down the order. Fought its way back into the top 20 by the end. Strange thing happened down at ACA ASP, but luckily it wasn't their lead car, it was the other car. The wheel gun sheared during the pit stop. Super speedy recovery from the mechanic. But here was not a recovery, this was a clash. Jasmine Jafar in the number 84 Mercedes clattering against the 0-0 with Jelmer Berman going through Eau Rouge. You don't want to do that. The rear end of the 84 car somewhat clattered. They got it back to the pit. In fact, the car kept on going for some laps. But now it's a question of Bentley watching what BMW was doing and radioing what they were doing at their pit stops, and vice versa. The 2 teams that got to the top, Bentley and BMW, duking it out and trying to work out who was going to come out ahead. But then the rain started to come down. This was absolutely key. But the number 6 Audi running in 3rd place, Christopher Mies, stayed out too long on his rain tyres. One of them exploded. It ripped off some fuel lines and set the car alight. But then this was an absolutely extraordinary moment in the race. Bentley couldn't believe what they were seeing. The 99 BMW tucked in for a second brake change. Said it was for security reasons, but it didn't matter. It mattered not. They managed to be so competitive when it was wet, going slightly better in the greasy conditions than the number 8 Bentley, that they were able to not lose too much ground and eventually work their way back into the lead at the race. But conditions were so difficult. Already front-end damage on the Team Praha Ferrari. And then right towards the end of the race, that's the 98 car, still running in 6th place at that point. Changed onto wet weather tyres and now had to wait the 99 car that went on to win the race for clear track ahead of it in the pit lane to pull in front of its garage. There was the number 50 Ferrari going for a spin. What you can see is the car, because the tyre has come off one lap too many, clearly, for passing Latourus in the number 50 Ferrari, and the rain tyre gave up. The busiest man in the Bentley garage was the man on the right, who was their team meteorologist, spent his whole race in the final 4 hours running backwards and forwards, telling the crews and the engineers what was happening, what was coming weather-wise. And this was the driver, the blue Ferrari, getting clouted there, punctured. He was leading the AM class, the 51A, of course, the Ferrari, very easily indeed. And then the whole lap with the car falling apart off the rear puncture. 52, that wasn't the car that made it to the end of the race for Duncan Cameron. The clatter with the barriers was just the end of it all. And then, of course, at Spa, you have the 2 pit lanes, the upper one and the lower one. So any visit to the pits takes a terribly long time to run the way through. We got to the final driver change, just over 1 hour from the end of the race. Blue sky, sunshine, dry tracks, but that was another roll of the dice. The rain came back at Spa-Francorchamps, and how it came back. Bentley giving chase. They held their car. They didn't think they could get the pit stop done in 1 minute 55. You have to be beneath that or above 2 minutes 15. And for the cars still coming in on their dry weather tyres, they went skating. And that was an unsafe release from the Mercedes that was up to 3rd place. Looking on the screen, the boss of the car that was chasing it, that's Jerome Policon, boss of ASP, and that meant the 88 car, his car, went up into 2nd place because a drive-through penalty for an unsafe release for the 86 Mercedes dropped it down. You can see 4 on the screen as it makes its drive-through penalty. 16:30 on the clock. Here is the car coming through to take victory. The Union flag being held out for race winner Alexander Sims, the checkered flag for the 99 BMW M6 GT3, and for Philippe Eng and Maxime Martin, that meant the world. BMW victory, the first year with the M6, and it's a winner here in the Spa 24 Hour, the toughest race in the Blancpain calendar. Alexander Sims, applause all round, and it's gonna be goodbye from us. What a fantastic Total 24 Hours of Spa-Francorchamps. See you again in 2017.